What's your how the hell do you know that moment? I'm a repository of useless knowledge. Moment that best stands out. Years ago, went to a trivia night at a restaurant with my father and his friends. Question came up about which Star Wars actor voiced a specific character in a video game. Had like 10 people looking at me like WTF. When I stated Mark Hamill without hesitation, I only knew because the day before, I'd started playing Arkham Asylum, saw his name in the credits, and ended up Googling his career. Haha, good one. I have a similar. My girlfriend asked me a couple weeks ago while reading something if I knew what apopsis was. Without hesitation I said it was the farthest point in an orbit. She looked so confused how I'd know that. I just got into playing Kerbal Space Program the week before. Recently I had to undergo Smith system driver training. If you haven't endured this particular waste of time, let me explain that what it boils down to is, never drive faster than you can see. Jack Burton. Good for beginner drivers. My class consisted of professional drivers with CDLs. I have over 20 years experience as a professional driver. The other guys in the class had just a bit less. 5 of us piled into a minivan, along with the instructor. We would each take a turn behind the wheel and comment on all of the observations. Stuff like, there is a car ahead on the right that is waiting to pull out into traffic. I adjust my driving to be prepared in case he lurches out. I'm ready to brake quickly and/or change lanes. The instructor said that each driver in turn would just drive in a direction of their choice. We would get lost and then have to find our way back. We had all afternoon. I was the 4th driver to be behind the wheel. Maybe an hour into the class. As the one with the most experience, I was overdoing it. Pointing out every little thing. Showing more and more intuition. Finally, I made the comment, the road has begun a 5% downgrade and brakes to the right, leaving the rest of the road beyond my range of vision. Chances are, there is a stoplight at the bottom of the hill, since the downgrade increases the speed of the vehicle by as much as adding the square of my rate of acceleration to the square of the acceleration given by the gravitation pull. I should take my foot off the accelerator so I am better prepared to stop when the red light comes into view. Silence from the other drivers. I continued down the hill and around the curve and, sure enough, there was the stoplight. Had I not anticipated it, I would have had to brake hard. Instead, I eased to a gentle stop. As we waited, one of the drivers in the back seat said, "Hold up, how in the fuck did you know there would be a stoplight at the bottom of the hill?" I pointed to a white house with green trim at the intersection. I said, "See that house? I live there." Damn, that was a good story. 7th grade, and a friend was telling me how sex felt. I'm pretty sure every school has that one kid. Change it to 8th grade and same here. Invited this one weird boy and 2 girls over for a science project at my house. Before I could give them my address, the boy already sent it out on our group chat. He's never been to my house or lives anywhere near me. Last year I bought a new handbag to go on vacation. Didn't talk to anybody in the store. Just walked in, chose a bag and took it to the counter. The girl said, "Have a good holiday," as I was leaving. Wasn't in an airport or holiday destination already. It wasn't an overtly vacation-y bag. It wasn't a travel-oriented store. I'll never know how she knew. Maybe reverse of what op intended. But anyway, Trivial Pursuit. Me blasting the competition. My then GFN picks up a card and puts on an evil smile. "You don't know that one. Architecture." Quote. She studied fucking architecture. Which Japanese town is known for its exceptional architecture? Or something along the lines. Me. Kyoto just rolled off my tongue within a second or so. Her face was frozen. How do I know that? Well, I love the Legend of Zelda games since I was 8. In Zelda Alt, they used the famous Kyoto Castle as blueprint for Hyrule Castle. Read that somewhere 15 years ago. We'll never forget her face. An automobile manufacturer was showing a new car powered by hydrogen, and he asked me if I had a renewable energy powered device of my own, and I answered by saying this hydrogen used is made not out of water but rather out of hydrocarbons like petroleum, and he called security. Lol. That's a big problem with clean cars. They always neglect to mention how they get their clean energy source. When I drove to the beach for week, I told my parents I was leaving, and I picked up my boyfriend, even though my parents said he was not allowed to come. Few days later, I'm driving back, and I get a text from my mom that says, "Can you please hurry up? Just drop off boyfriend's name and come home already." Disclaimers. I sent them my safely arrived at destination text message earlier than my actual arrival, to account for the added time from picking him up. Also, this was the first time I did something behind their back like this. I didn't have a history of rule breaking at that point. Helicopter parents. Edit. Added a second disclaimer. Are your parents friends with any of the other people who went parents? Or even your boyfriend's parents? Parents sometimes drop info to each other even on accident. Or if your friends posted any pictures or something on social media. Good thinking. But weirdly enough, our parents had never met. Also, I went with my best friend at the time. She knew it was a big secret, and kept his image off social media for me. It was a small squeak. Embarrassing. I know, unless she spilled, or my car was being tracked. I have no idea how they knew. Alternatively, it could have been a really good guess to try and catch me, but I'm not sure why they'd even suspect it if I'd never been bad before. When homophobic people say God hate gay people, I don't get why people say that. The Bible says it's a sin, but it also says God does not hate sinners, only the sin. Happened to me. I've played instruments and sung all my life. Not amazingly, just a hobby. This is years ago now. I was a teenager, in the car with my mom, and they were interviewing Alicia Keys on the radio. She must have perfect pitch or something. And the host said, "We'll play a note on the piano and you tell us what it is." They played the note. I said, "That's C." Alicia said, "That's C," and the host went wild. Mom was gobsmacked. "How do you know that?" I said I could hear D in my head and it was lower than that. I've spent all these years wondering if I have perfect pitch too. I believe that's relative pitch, where you can figure out a note based upon a reference point. Perfect, absolute pitch is where you know the note without going off of a reference. Still quite good though. I was at the gym, and got a sharp stabbing pain in my left side, between some ribs. Thought I'd foam roll it out, but as soon as I lay on the foam roller, and felt the searing pain, decided that was not a good idea, and I'd sleep on it, literally, and hope the pain in my diaphragm, as I thought of it, would be better in the morning. Woke up the next day, and the pain had gone, and in my mind was this word, intercostal, instead of diaphragm. I look it up, and it is indeed the correct word for where I had felt the pain. But I still don't know how the hell I knew that. No idea where I would have heard that word previously. I was pushing a cannibalism can solve both world hunger and overpopulation joke when I mentioned the proper way to serve human penis is boiled, not cooked. I know this because I was watching a YouTube video about the legality of cannibalism in a survival situation, and it mentioned how a guy served his own dick to food critics, and one of them said that. My question was, how many human dicks did that guy eat to know that? Was chatting with a customer. Unprompted, they asked if I was going on vacation soon. When I asked how they knew, said I gave off vacation vibes. They were checking if your house will be empty for the taking. I was watching a film with my dad. Not sure what film, but I think it might have been Downfall. At some point, someone got poisoned with cyanide. My dad then said they clearly didn't do their research. I asked him what he meant, and he replied with, if he actually did get poisoned with cyanide, he'd be foaming at the mouth. Turns out, When my dad was in the military in 1980s Eastern Bloc. He was in CBRN Defense. Google hyena pseudopenis and you'll know. Now this is a fact I already knew. A girl at work I never talked to before. First shift together. Knew what gymnasium I go to and I have no idea how. 'Cause she goes there too and saw you there. Nope, I see her in the morning at the bus, and we take different buses. I worked in a restaurant and a man called up to see if we were open. I chat with him on the phone and he mentioned that he played squash nearby and was going to come over when he was finished. He came in. I asked about his game of squash. He was happy. 2 months later, he comes back. I ask if he just finished playing squash and he's like, "How the hell do you know that?" Quote, I try to not scare people with my very specific memories now. I caught myself doing it the other day, when a lady I served before came in, started making her DIY burger, and at the end I asked, "Last time you made this burger you had guacamole on it. Would you like that again?" When they turned to look at me I had a "oh no I did it again" moment, but she thought it was helpful and ordered the burger like that. Damn, I can't even remember what I ate 2 days ago and you tell me that you remember that stuff from other people? I'm so jealous of your memory. It was during my time in secondary school. That's my country's equivalent of high school for the Americans reading this. And I was sitting at the back of geography class during my first year and we were learning about Australia. Teacher then asks if anyone had relatives living there. A few of the other students answered yes. Others seemed reluctant to say anything. I end up mentioning one of my uncles has lived there for as long as I can remember. The teacher ends up replying, "Oh, is that?" and ends up saying my uncle's name and the name of his wife. I got kinda spooked. I've never met or heard of this woman in my life, and ask her how she knows that. She recognized me and reveals that we're also related as cousins. So there I was, acting a maggot in class, completely unaware that I had a relative overseeing my progress for the next 6 years. Needless to say I did my best to stay out of trouble after that. Small world, huh? In an intro HVAC class, we were talking about the effects of altitude on various properties of air. The professor asked, "What elevation are we at?" I answered about 900 feet. He stared at me, baffled. "How do you know that?" "I only know because I'm a pilot. My friend lives on the crest of a hill and has an excellent view for being in the city." I had tracked down topographic maps to see if there were higher points in the area. He lives on the 3rd highest hill in the city. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.